All right, and we're starting. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Team Joystick Heroes podcast. My name is Christopher Shin.
I'm Rebecca Mickus.
And we are your hosts for the Team Joystick Heroes podcast. And we're really excited to get this started. A little info about Team Joystick Heroes. We're a school project based out of Camden County College in the game design program. We all get together for 3 whole semesters. One semester we work on one game, ended at the beta stage, and then the next 2 semesters we work on another game, but that one goes all the way through, and that's over 30 weeks instead of 15. Anything you want to add to that?
I'm excited. I'm excited to be doing this. And yeah, we're Team Joystick Heroes. To talk about last semester a little bit.
Yeah, I think we should talk about that a little bit.
I was project lead. There's 9 members total, including Chris and I. I was project lead, and we all didn't really know each other, so that was really exciting.
That was a little fun to get to know each other learned how each other worked.
It was pretty terrible, actually. The first 3 weeks were horrible. No one was listening, and everyone was scared, and I was stressed. And throughout the semester, I just kept getting more stressed. But then I started to get to know everyone, and I'm like, they're actual people. They're not that bad.
And I was the Omega team lead last semester. Omega team is that team who's like not programming and not art, so they're like, what do we do? So you just kind of get thrown into a team and you're like, do everything else that is not art or programming. And you're like, what is everything else? And then you get told and you're like, okay, that's a lot easier. But being Omega team lead, also I was able to help out Rebecca a lot last semester, so she wasn't just carrying the whole team on her shoulders.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny now that we're here doing the podcast and neither of us are in a leadership position anymore.
It's pretty great.
So,
I miss it a little bit, but at the same time, I'm not as stressed, and I can relax and joke about things and actually have a life outside of Team Joystick Heroes, even though I do love our team, but sometimes it gets a little overwhelming.
Yeah, well, now that's on Logan's hands, so...
Yeah, Logan is, he was in Omega and Art.
Yeah, he split himself between 2 teams. He did a really good job in both, so...
Yeah, that's the cool thing about, just being in, like, game design in general. If you could just switch roles like that. We only have one art person who is Adam, and, he was struggling, and then Logan was like, hey, I'll help you. And then we had Bush to kind of be...
Yeah, Bush to Bot. Our resident android.
Yeah, he's a robot. It's great to have a robot on a team.
David Bushta. He's a programmer. Obviously, over the course of this podcast, we're going to have everyone from the team join in, but we're really excited about, doing this first episode and then seeing how it goes from there. So we're just going to kind of sit here, talk about Team Joystick Heroes today, and just a few other nerdy things, because what are we all but just a bunch of nerds?
We're all nerds.
So where do we start with Team Joystick Heroes? Last semester, we worked on a game called Toy Box of Terror.
It was crazy.
It was a top-down bubble shooter. It was a fun kind of retelling of the story of Pandora's Box. We were actually lucky enough to have voice acting in that game. That was kind of cool.
That was super cool.
Not many teams have had full voice acting for not cutscenes. They're more like in between animations. You can call them cutscenes if you want. And we had a fully voiced antagonist, voiced actually by Off the Grid's Nick Acevedo, and he did a really good job.
Yeah, it was interesting to hear his voice.
Yeah,
in the game, because you hear it outside, like when you talk to him, and then you're like, oh, I'm playing my own game, and then I hear his voice.
Did you have really bass heavy headphones on, so like you could fear the reverberations going around your head?
He has a very, very deep and soothing voice.
Yes,
yeah.
I could go to sleep to that voice.
Yeah,
but enough about that. But now we're in a new stage of development. We're working on a brand new game, and we're taking a few different angles differently this time. We're over a 30-week period, so we're able to do a little bit more and have a little bit more time in between each.
And money. We have more money, too.
Oh, yeah, more money. We're using a couple different... So far, we're using one different software. Trello is a really good website. Shameless plug for Trello.com. They're a project managing website, and we can just post little boards that, has tasks. You can have a checklist of what's been done so far, and you can set it to where either the person that's assigned the task can edit it, or only the project manager can edit it. So it's a really helpful software. I hope we utilize it a lot more this semester than we already have. I hope we can get really in-depth with it. It's about... What else are we using so far?
I don't know. We use Google. Last semester we used Google Drive, which is like easy. Everyone knows Google Drive, but I feel like with Trello it's a lot more organized.
Oh, so much so.
Yeah, because Google Drive is kind of it got really cluttered, but Trello is a lot more, like you said, the boards are just so much more organized. The programming team doesn't really... I haven't really looked at Trello that much. I looked at it a little bit, but with like programming, like we just kind of do our own thing.
Yeah. Once we get into the main development stage.
That's when we'll use it a lot more. Well, I know Logan's been using it in kind of the Omega side, and Art has been showing me his art, his cars.
I'm excited to see him. I want to see him. We're actually currently still in brainstorming phase, technically. We just finished our PPD a few days ago. The PPD is a publisher proposal document. That's the main thing that you would like take to a developer or a publisher and be like, here's my idea for the game. Here's every basic thing you need to know. And you hand it to them, and they'll decide from there if they like it or not. So yeah, we got that done actually a lot faster than we did last semester.
It's fine now. Yeah, it's basically the blueprint, of the entire...
Yeah, it's your base blueprint.
Yeah.
You look at it.
It talks about the story of the game, which we don't really have much of a story, since we're doing a racing game.
Oh yeah, we didn't even really talk about the game.
Yeah.
Our game is Cougar Racing.
Rare.
Named after the mascot of Camden County College. It's going to be a racing game that takes place at the college. We're going to use the different roads and pathways around the school as a map, and different tracks can come off of those. And that's really cool. I'm excited to do it. So
yeah, we have a lot of ideas. I'm not going to spoil anything yet because, like Chris said, we're in development, but we have a lot of really cool ideas, and I feel like we could do a lot with this. We have such a wide range.
I'd say range.
Yeah, of things we could just do with the game, and it's racing. No one else has done a racing game yet in the game design program at Camden County College. We are the first to hopefully successfully do it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where we go. I just want to get out the gates and start getting into the programming, even though I'm not actually touching the programming because that's not what I'm good at.
Yeah. Neither am I, but I'm programming, so we'll see what happens.
You have Bushdabot there. He can just plug in tutorial.exe and he'll help you
seriously. Out. And then and Fan and Shifty though are good. We have Shifty Dave. That's his real name, Shifty Dave, and he's actually a really great programmer.
He is.
Fan is also very good. He's
I feel like we always Fan is a really good asset to the team. He always, he's always willing to learn. Like, if he doesn't, know the thing yet in the language that he's writing code in, he goes and looks it up and figures it out. And it's a really valuable
And he does his thing. If you tell him to do something, he'll be like, all right, I gotcha. And then he'll have it done the next day or whenever you need it by. He's great. Everyone in the team is really, really super handy and great.
Yeah. And we're excited to have each and every one of them on the podcast over the course of this.
Yeah, you'll get to meet everyone. Aren't you excited?
Be excited. Let's see, what else? Well, we were leads last semester, so we never really talked about that. But we were leads last semester, and now we're not. We're both just kind of like regular Joes on the team at this point. So if you want to say regular Joes, if you want to say something else, but at this rate, we're not, in that leadership position anymore. We've handed the reins over to Logan, as we said. And Nick Cipriani is helping out Logan this semester. Nick Cipriani is a very project-focused guy. He sets his mind to a task, and he's like, all right,
He's crazy. This. Like if you just met him, you're a little overwhelmed. But once you got to get to know his work ethic and understand what he's about, because once you meet him, you're like, oh god, you're a little overwhelmed.
Yeah, he's very overwhelming at first, but I think once you warm up to him, he's a really good worker.
Oh yeah, and he's totally chill too. Like he's totally chilled out. I think it's just like last semester, we were all new to it. We were all freaked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in programming. Which I'm learning. I don't really know. I know a little bit about programming, but I'm learning. And Chris is in Omega. He's not the lead, but he's in this little spot in Omega.
Omega. What can I say about Omega? We're in charge of the analog game, which in game 3 and 4 we compose an analog game. It can be a card game, a board game, whatever we can come up with. Just can't be a straight rip-off of anything. So me and Nick Cipriani sat down and we're like, okay, what do? We have a racing game as our video game. We need to theme it after our video game. And we there's been a few racing, like, board games. There was a card game. I can't remember the name of it. It was a French card game. There was also Formula D, which is a racing-themed board game. You have to play the right cards in the right way to make your best move possible. So we went, how are we going to take care of this? How are we going to approach this? And we threw ideas around for the first 2 weeks. And this week we really buckled down and worked on it because our paper prototype is ready to go. And now we think we have a solid system. We're just excited to play test it later today and get something really cool out of it. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah. It's all about testing, trying things out, and then making sure it's good. It's the whole point of development stage. It's a little exciting, but after that, we'll start to rev the engine.
Yeah.
Get it? A racing game. Okay.
Racing fun. Yay.
Yay.
Let's see. How are you today? Let's touch that.
All right, let's chill back a little bit.
Let's roll it back a little bit. We've been talking really heavy on the game design.
Oh, let's shout out to Gordon also. We didn't really talk about Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon's that unsung hero of just if you want a really fun time, just sit next to Gordon in any situation.
Yeah, because he whispers things under his breath, and he's hilarious. He doesn't talk at all, but when you sit next to him, you'll be like, Gordon, what'd you just say? And he'll look at you, and he's just a funny guy. But he's great. He's a great designer.
Yeah, he's amazing with Illustrator.
Yeah, he did our banner, our Team Joystick Heroes banner.
And that thing's incredible.
It was incredible. Banner. And he did the disc art for Toy Box of Terror. He also did the...
He did the insert for... He did the back of the back of the insert for that thing looked professional level.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, I thought I was looking at
Yeah.
something people who have been doing this for years have done, kind of a thing. So he's really, really cool and a really good asset for the team, and we're really excited. We have such a really diverse team.
Yeah, it's interesting because last semester I didn't know what to expect because we were all different. Like you said, diverse. I didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I'm sure, no one really knew what to expect, but then we all
No one knows what to expect in games. When you come in, you're like, oh, it's making games, and you're like, no, it's not.
No, you have to interact with people, and we're nerds, Nerds don't interact with people.
Oh, no. No, that's not, we can't say that. No, not to our audience. But let's dial it back a little bit. How are you today?
I'm alright. I'm a little tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm pretty tired. I went and saw Deadpool last night.
Yeah, how was it?
11:30. It was a lot of fun. It was exactly what I wanted out of the movie.
Yeah.
It was... I don't want to spoil it, but...
No, please don't.
I'm not going to say anything spoilerish, but, the scenes that you've seen in the trailer and anything don't even equate to the amount of, punchlines and everything that's all there.
Really?
Yeah, those weren't even the funniest scenes that they showed in the trailers, and I was surprised. I was like, oh man, this
that's actually awesome, because some movies they'll have the trailer and it'll just be the entire movie, you know what I mean? You'll see the trailer and you'll be like, oh, that looks good, and then you see the movie and it's like, oh,
Batman v Superman. I feel like I know the whole movie.
Oh, it looks terrible. It looks terrible. Let's not. Well, we can't get into it. Actually, it looks so bad.
I think I don't know how to feel about it. I need to see it to make a judgment on it.
Oh, I already made a judgment, and I'm not happy with it. I'm probably going to see it no matter what.
Oh, yeah, I'm still going to see it, but I think that if this is going to be the main Justice League universe that they're going to use, they really have to bring their A game. They're competing with Marvel, who's already done 2 full team-up movies.
Yeah.
Captain America Civil War is coming out soon.
Yeah.
And that's going to be probably the biggest movie of this year, I think. In all honesty, I think that is the most hyped up movie this year.
Okay.
So far. And then we also have Suicide Squad coming out. A trailer for it actually played when we went to go see Deadpool.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, and it was the same trailer that they revealed online and they played on TV.
Yeah.
With Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, oh, that was
everything.
fantastic.
I'm excited for it because they're going the non-serious route with it. Mm-hmm. Instead of being dark and broody like what Batman v Superman looks like it's going to be. It's going to be more about, just a ridiculous team of people. And the Suicide Squad's honestly one of my favorite comic book team-ups.
Right.
I've read a few of their comics. I'm really a huge fan of, like, Harley Quinn and Deadshot.
Mm-hmm. Well, who doesn't like Harley?
Yeah, I mean, she's so hard to not like.
Yeah, she's crazy. That's
She's
about
fun.
it.
She's just a fun character in general. She's
She's super interesting, Especially the comics. I've been reading the New 52 comics, and they're, like, fantastic.
Yeah.
They're like, totally Harley.
She's like this DC's Deadpool almost. Like, she interacts with the writers, which is really funny.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting comic, and anyone should go out and read it. But the Suicide Squad movie looks great, I think.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. The Batman versus Superman, it looks like they put way too much into it. It doesn't look cohesive. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah,
but it looks too crazy. And I like crazy. I love crazy.
Yeah.
But with that, it just looks so all over the place.
Yeah, the trailer just seems like it's like, okay, from what I've seen in the trailer, it's Batman doesn't like Superman. Wonder Woman's there for some reason. I mean, I guess that they need to introduce her before her own solo movie, like 2 years from now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, when I saw her, I was like, wait a minute, what? Like, the first trailer, I think, of Batman vs. Superman, it looked okay. It didn't really look that bad. And then as soon as they started coming out with more, I'm like, this is just getting way out of hand.
As soon as I saw Doomsday, I'm like, oh, come on. You couldn't have waited for Doomsday to appear in a movie. You gotta use him now.
Yeah, no, but Suicide Squad, I was actually, the first trailer for Suicide Squad, I wasn't really that happy with. I'm like, looks pretty, like... It
looked like it was going to be drab and sad. And
but and then when the Bohemian Rhapsody one, I'm like, oh.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I was sitting in the theater, I'm like, I can't wait to see it. My girlfriend's sitting right next to me going, like of how excited I was getting. Gonna loop back to Deadpool with a thing real quick. I'm still not sure how to feel about the actress playing Wonder Woman yet.
Okay.
In all honesty, the actress that they got to play Angel Dust in Deadpool, the one who, in the trailer, Ryan Reynolds is like, oh, you're going to leave me here with less angry Rosie O'Donnell?
Oh, yeah.
She looks like she could be an amazing Wonder Woman.
Right.
Like, from, seeing her in the movie, the actress is actually a former MMA fighter.
Ooh.
Yeah, that would have been a really cool...
Great.
Yeah, I forget her name right now. I'll have to look it up again. But she was really great character, and even though she didn't have much dialogue, she had that presence on the screen, and she had some good funny lines, and some good funny moments. I'll say that Colossus was great.
Yeah.
I was excited to see him. He was that really funny kind of Russian dude stereotype, but he was really funny and like the big bodybuilder stereotype, and he was great. I don't want to talk too much about Deadpool though, because I want everyone to go see it.
Go see it. I haven't seen it. I probably won't see it this weekend, but definitely next week sometime. I also have to see Zoolander 2.
Oh yeah, Zoolander 2 looks pretty good.
It looks terrible, but Zoolander.
It's Zoolander. Zoolander is one of those movies that you're like, okay, I need to watch this.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've seen Zoolander probably 100 times. No, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but. It's just one, every line to Zoolander, like Blue Steel. Everyone knows what Blue Steel. Yeah. So I'm excited to see the second one. It's probably terrible, but you have to see it.
Get orange mocha frappuccinos. And
orange mocha frappuccinos.
Go get in a gasoline.
This is disgusting. Oh my god! And then they all blow. Oh, I'm not gonna actually. If you've never seen Zoolander, I'm not gonna spoil.
I mean, when did that movie come out? At this rate, everyone should have seen.
I know
Zoolander.
everyone should have seen Zoolander, but there are some people that haven't seen certain movies, and you're like, wait a minute, what? Like I've never seen. I didn't see Grease for a really long time. I know it's not nerd related, but I didn't see Grease for a really long time. My girlfriend was like, wait a minute, you've never seen Grease? I'm like, why would I see Grease? You know what I mean? It's like certain movies, like, I know my one friend has never seen Forrest Gump. And I'm like, you've never seen Forrest Gump? Like, I watched Forrest Gump like at least like 10 times in school. Yeah. I don't know why they showed it in school.
It's like, there's some scenes in that movie that I'm like, they're not school appropriate. Like Jenny on stage, and then it was just the whole Vietnam segment. I'm like, that's really graphic. And I'm like, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, what have you been playing recently?
I haven't been playing too much. I've been playing a lot of Earthbound and a lot of A Link to the Past. Yes. Earthbound's
a great game.
It's fantastic.
Me and my girlfriend are going to sit down and play it eventually. But I actually wanted to talk about, have you played Undertale yet?
No, you keep telling me to play it. But
Undertale is one of those games, like, you can't say anything about it. I'm just going to say that if you like Earthbound, if you like Ness and everything, you're going to love Undertale.
Did you see the Undertale amiibos that someone made?
No.
They're like custom. I think they're custom. They're like custom amiibos for Undertale.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll show you. They look pretty cool. I was like, oh, amiibos, Undertale. I don't get it, but cool.
Yeah, it's one of those games. It's $8 on Steam. It's $10 if you get the soundtrack with it, and
Is the soundtrack worth it?
Oh, the soundtrack is definitely worth it.
Okay.
I pop it on my car sometimes, and I'm just like, oh yeah, fun. It's fun. It can be gut wrenching at times, but if you're definitely a fan of like Earthbound and Mother 3, you'll definitely be a fan. Guy Toby Fox, who created it, actually did an Earthbound ROM hack. For Halloween a few years ago.
Okay.
And it was really interesting. I'm not going to say too much about it, but it took a really dark route and like a really emotional route with the story of
Isn't Undertale like super emotional though?
It is. But
that's fine
emotional.
though. Yeah. Like I get that's why I play video games, so I can cry. You know what I mean? Just let it all out.
And you said A Link to the Past you've been playing?
Yeah. I love my Zelda, and I feel like I've never played A Link to the Past, and I've been playing it, and it's interesting because it's not hard, but it's hard because nowadays we're so used to
being our hands are being held through a game, and
and then A Link to just like the Super Nintendo, and just like it's so different. You know what I mean? It's not hard, but you just have to get used to the controls, and it's great. Earthbound's great. Earthbound is probably one of the most like modern games I've ever played, and it came out in 1990, early 90s, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure early 90s or like. Yeah, I think it came out on the Super Famicom in Japan.
Yeah.
We got them out of order. That was the only thing. Like, we still don't have actually an English version of Mother 3, which is really disappointing.
Yes.
Going back to the whole thing about like games holding your hand nowadays, I was playing the original Punch-Out!
Oh, really?
A few days ago. Yeah, and that is, it's entirely reflex based, and the game has a really fun way of like teaching you how to play it, but it doesn't explicitly be like, wait for your opponent to punch, move out of the way, punch.
Yeah.
Like it's like you have to figure that out for yourself. You have to mess with the controller. I miss that those days of games.
Oh yeah, no, they were good. Like I remember playing on my N64. I still play my N64. I have my little Pikachu N64 where the cheeks light up. So cute. But yeah, I play like GoldenEye, which is fantastic.
GoldenEye was a great game.
It's like a little outdated now, but I don't care. I still play it. It's great. What are you playing?
I've been playing a lot. I've been trying to beat Dark Souls 2.
Okay.
In preparation for Dark Souls 3 coming out in March.
Ooh.
Which I'm getting day one, and probably going to be locking myself in the house until I beat it.
I can't believe I tried playing, and I'm like, screw this.
I've also just about finished my run through Bloodborne. I have two runs going at the same time. 2 different character builds I'm working on, and just testing out which one I like the most. I don't know, Bloodborne is a great game. I think anyone who has a PS4 should definitely get Bloodborne. Even if you're not a fan of like the Souls games, give it a shot. I think you'll really like it. Even if it's hard,
Yeah.
But it's fair.
Okay.
You're gonna hate everything, but you're also gonna be like, okay, I can do this. Like, it's not impossible. People.
I feel like that didn't convince me at all. You're gonna hate everything.
You're gonna hate. I mean, I'm just like, I hate bosses. I hate this boss, and then you beat that boss, and you're like, yeah, take that.
I totally get it.
You get this really crazy power trip coming off of the game.
That's amazing.
That's why I love the Souls games, because that and the lore. I mean, Bloodborne, for anyone who is not aware, is very heavily inspired by the works of H.P. Lovecraft. And also the works of, like, Bram Stoker and all of, like, those old authors, which the game's creator has just said he loves fantasy and he loves that, like, those old horror stories and those books that were just, like, what became horror, classic horror for us. He has a really interesting way of approaching lore and storytelling, too. He says when he was young, he didn't know much English because he's a Japanese developer. He didn't know much English.
Right.
So when he was reading these books, he had to use his imagination to try to fill in the blanks of words he didn't know. So that's where a lot of, like, there's no outright story. It's just like, here's this. I read item descriptions, talk to NPCs, however few of them there are, see what the names of the bosses are, and eventually you'll piece together this really cool story. That's why I really like Bloodborne, especially.
That's really
as I'm sitting here with my complete collection of H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, you said H.P. Lovecraft. I'm looking at the book. I'm like, huh. Makes sense now.
He's my favorite writer. And
okay.
Yeah, he's really. I'm not gonna say he was the coolest guy. He was born in the 1890s.
Oh, he's pretty cool then.
Terribly racist though.
Oh, okay.
His works were amazing. Him as a person, not the best. He was also really, like, hated everything in life. But his works, inspire, like, this really primal fear. And that's what I like about it. Like, one of my favorite quotes from him is, "The oldest emotion in mankind is fear, and the greatest fear is the fear of the unknown." That's a really cool quote. Other than that, I have been playing Mortal Kombat X. I just beat the story mode a few days ago.
Really?
Oh, I love fighting games. And Mortal Kombat was that game, like, I played back when my cousin had his Super Nintendo, and I'd go over his house and I'd pop Mortal Kombat in.
Yeah.
And I'd just sit there and play as Sub-Zero, Scorpion.
Yeah.
And I would just, when I learned about fatalities, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
There's fatalities?
I have not played the new Mortal Kombat.
It's pretty fun. I mean,
it looks amazing. Like, when I was watching the YouTube video, it looks like ridiculously sick.
The graphics are incredible.
Yeah, it looks crazy.
Yeah,
I have to play it eventually. I'm probably never gonna buy it, but I would like to play it.
Just go over to a friend's house and be like, "Here, I want to play this."
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Ah, all right."
Jason Voorhees is in it. He's a DLC character. That's pretty fun.
I think I heard about that. That's crazy.
Yeah. He's just really ridiculous. Like, his fatalities are all, like, classic horror. Like, the slasher film tropes is, like, one of them is, like, your opponent looks up in fear and musical cues are happening.
That's pretty cool.
It's really funny, and you saw that, like, Ed Boon, the creator of Mortal Kombat, had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
Also, aliens, like the xenomorphs from Alien, are coming into the game next in the new DLC.
Really?
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm really excited. I love Alien. It's one of my favorite movies.
Wow. That's crazy. They're doing so much with DLC.
Yeah, they really are. Like, that should be a really cool topic for, like, where we really get into it for another podcast, talking about DLC.
Maybe next week.
Yeah, next week we could talk about DLC. We'll probably have someone else present for that podcast.
Yeah, maybe Logan.
Maybe
a special guest. Wink, wink.
Guest.
Nah, I don't know who, but we'll find someone.
We're excited, though. We're really excited to do this podcast, and we're really hoping that we're able to get as much information to everyone out there as possible.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great way for keeping up with news and, keeping up with what we're doing on the team. Mm-hmm. Next week, we're going to be past the PPD and into the GDD, and that's going to be...
That's a big boy.
For those of you who are not aware listening, the GDD is the game design document. That is what you write out and you're like, this is everything the game is. It's every mechanic written down. It's all of the art put into it. It's all the characters, a bestiary if there is one, machinery. For this one, we're not going to have like a bestiary, and we're not going to have many characters because it's more about the cars in the college.
Right.
And
it's just racing.
It's just racing at the college, and that's really cool. I'm really excited, and it's really cool that we're doing this. Because then it really shows like this hand-in-hand relationship with the game design program in the college, which really should be there and present at all times.
Yeah, because without the college, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, we wouldn't be here without the college, and
thank you, college.
Yeah, thank you, Camden County College, for having probably the best game design program in the state.
Oh yeah, like I know I forget. One of my friends, I don't know what, he goes to university. Not sure which one. I forget.
Blank University.
Blank University, if you ever heard of it.
Watch, we're going to get sued. We're going to get a cease and desist from Blank University.
I'm sorry, Blank University. Anyway, he was telling me that he took a game design class and they wrote a research paper on Atari. And I'm just like, we're making games.
We're learning the design process.
This is real life stuff. You know what I mean? And he was like at a blank university, and he wrote a research paper on Atari. I'm just like, oh my god, that sounds terrible. I'm really happy that we're doing this because it's preparing us.
It is,
and it's fun. I'm having so much fun with it.
Yeah, you learn something new every day, and that's I think the best part about this.
Yeah, and you learn how to work with people, which I think is key. Because like once you get off into the real world, you have to learn how to deal with their work ethics, other people's work ethics, and we're learning it right now, which is fantastic.
Yeah, there's no grace periods like there is in game design.
Yeah.
In this course, you mess up in the real world, you can be done in an instant. So you learn hard here, but you learn good. And a special shout out to our game design professor, Professor Morrison.
Professor Morrison.
We should have him on the podcast.
Oh, we totally should.
That would be a fun podcast episode. Have him on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll probably also have a member from Game 3 on here, so we can talk to them a little bit.
Game 4?
Or Game 4. We're Game 3. I forgot.
It's okay.
I still refer to them as Game 3, even though they were... That's what we call them.
Oh, no, I'm calling myself Game 3. I'm like, we're past Game 2. We're moving on.
But we'll try to have one of the members from Off the Grid
We should have someone from Game 1.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Take someone who, like, in that room out there, we're watching them work together and stuff.
Yeah, let's talk about Game 1 briefly.
Yeah, we should close out the episode talking about Game 1.
Because it's much different from 2, 3, and 4. Game 1, you are alone, and the entire semester you basically you learn how to work on the PPD, then you do a story. You have to write
17 minimum page story. I wrote about 24 pages.
I think I wrote like 20, 22. I don't know. It was ridiculous. And then the GDD is our final project. And just to explain the GDD a little bit more, is the game design document, as Chris said. The PPD, just to give you a basis of how much of a difference it is, the PPD can roughly be up to 12 pages. 12 pages. And the GDD can be up to 100, we'll say. It doesn't really have.
It doesn't. It has... The amount of sections that you have and the amount of everything that comes out of it is what decides how long your GDD
because
is.
mine I was roughly around 80 pages, but then I've heard Professor Morrison say it can be like he's had people that have had 100, which happens.
Mine was close to 80. My GDD.
Yeah, so that was Game 1, and it was
over the course of it. You also learn you do little assignments. You read a really good book. I read that, not the game design, project management. It was the one written by the wife of John Romero, who worked on Doom with him. And it was approaching game design from an analog standpoint, but applying it to video games. We actually,
one of the assignments we had to make a board game, know, and then we had one of them we had to make I remember one of the assignments we had to do, it was with dice, you had to change the rules of poker. Do you remember that? Yeah, and we had to I made some weird blackjack game. It was crazy. But it was cool because not only do we learn about the rules and the directions how to follow through the PPD and the GDD, we did little assignments here and there just to understand what goes into the design process of just making any game, which is cool. Not just a video game, but just an analog game, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is interesting. You don't really, because you think it's all going to be about video games, but then it's game's a game, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, this was a cool first episode.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening. This is Chris Shin, or Christopher Shin, however you want to refer to it as, along with
Rebecca Mickes. Also, I would like to mention we have a Facebook page.
We do.
If you guys have Facebook, which I'm sure you do, it's the URL is facebook.com/T Joystick Heroes, T as in teacup, Joystick Heroes.
Teacup Joystick Heroes.
Not Teacup Joystick Heroes. You might find something, but that's not us. We're just the T. We post updates and dates of what we're doing and what's going on. That's basically our main social media. We also have a Twitter, which is also at T Joystick Heroes, and we have a Snapchat, which is at T Joystick Heroes.
We made sure to grab all those before someone took them.
Yeah.
There's someone out there who's like, I'm gonna take this.
Yeah, no, we grabbed it right away. We're like, we're Team Joystick Heroes. There was a Team Joystick Heroes.
There was, and they came out like after our page came out, like a month or two after our page came out. They made their page.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was like, wait,
it's a whole bunch of anime stuff on it too.
I didn't even really look at it. I just saw you guys last week. You're like, there's another Team Joystick Heroes.
I'm like, don't slander our name.
It was wild. But yeah, thank you for listening, everyone.
Thank you for listening. Also, be on a lookout for, these are probably I'm thinking about posting these on YouTube. I think maybe that's the best format for them.
Right, yeah.
And then we'll just link to them from our Facebook. And also, I'd like to try to make videos. That's another thing we should try to do.
Yeah,
we got that camera, so.
Oh yeah, the TD, shout out to TD Bank.
For that awesome camera that we got. We're gonna really put that thing to use. Probably we're gonna make a lot of promotion.
It's like a GoPro.
Yeah, it's like a Polaroid brand GoPro. That's really funny.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting sidetracked again. We've been trying to end the episode for like 2 minutes now. But thank you again for listening. This has been the Team Joystick Heroes podcast, and we're really excited about this. All right, catch you guys next time.
Bye.